Chapter 6. The Search for the Magic Acorn. Emily and Whiskers gathered the forest animals in the large clearing, where they often held their gatherings. The talking creatures sat in a circle, their eyes filled with a mix of concern and curiosity. "Friends, we have a very important task ahead of us," Whiskers began, his voice calm and authoritative. "We must find the missing magical acorn that sustains the balance of our enchanted forest." A murmur rippled through the group as the animals exchanged worried glances. The wise old owl, named Archimedes, spoke up. "The acorn is the heart of our forest, the very thing that keeps our world in harmony. Without it, the delicate balance will be disrupted, and the consequences could be disastrous." Emily looked at the animals, her brow furrowed with determination. "Don't worry, we'll find it. Whiskers and I are here to help, and I know with all of you working together, we can solve this problem." The rabbit, named Thumper, wrung his paws nervously. "But where do we even start? The forest is so vast, and that acorn could be anywhere." Whiskers raised a paw to quiet the group. "Thumper raises a valid concern. This will not be an easy task, but I believe if we work as a team, pooling our knowledge and resources, we can uncover the acorn's location." Emily nodded in agreement. "Okay, let's think this through step by step. First, let's make a list of all the places the acorn could be. Archimedes, you've lived in this forest the longest. Where do you think we should start searching?" The wise old owl hooted thoughtfully. "Well, the acorn is a powerful magical object, so it's likely hidden in a place of great significance or protection. Perhaps the ancient oak tree at the center of the forest, or the hidden glade where the forest spirits gather." "Great idea," Emily exclaimed. "And Thumper, you know these woods better than anyone. Are there any other spots that might be important or sacred to the forest?" Thumper's ears perked up as he considered the question. "There is the ancient stone circle in the northern clearing and the hidden cave system near the rushing waterfall. Those could be possible hiding places." Whiskers nodded approvingly. "Excellent suggestions, all of you. Now let's divide into search parties and scour the forest. We'll cover more ground that way." The animals quickly organized themselves into groups, with Archimedes leading one team to the oak tree, Thumper guiding another to the stone circle, and a third group heading to the waterfall caves. Emily and Whiskers decided to explore the hidden glade as Archimedes had recommended. As they ventured deeper into the lush forest, Emily couldn't help but marvel at the beauty and wonder around her. Vibrant flowers, glowing moss, and towering trees filled her vision. Whiskers padded silently beside her, his eyes scanning the landscape for any sign of the missing acorn. "This place is incredible, Whiskers," Emily whispered, not wanting to disturb the tranquility. "I can see why the acorn would be hidden somewhere so special." "Indeed, my dear," Whiskers replied, his gaze focused ahead. "The forest is a sacred place, and the acorn is the key to maintaining its delicate balance. We must find it before time runs out." They soon reached a small, secluded clearing where a glimmering pool of water lay in the center. Surrounding the pool were ancient stone pillars adorned with intricate carvings and moss-covered vines. "This must be the hidden glade Archimedes mentioned," Whiskers said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Let us search carefully, Emily. The acorn could be anywhere." The two companions began scouring the area, inspecting every nook and cranny, but there was no sign of the precious acorn. Emily's heart sank with each passing minute, and she could see the concern growing in Whiskers' eyes. Just as they were about to give up and regroup with the other search parties, a sudden rustling in the nearby bushes caught their attention. Emily held her breath, waiting to see what might emerge. To her surprise, a small, timid-looking rabbit hopped into the clearing, clutching something tightly in its paws. "Thumper!" Emily exclaimed, recognizing the nervous creature. "Did you find something?" Thumper approached them, his eyes darting back and forth. I think so," he stammered, uncurling his paws to reveal a glowing golden acorn. "I was searching the undergrowth when I stumbled upon this. I believe it's the one we're looking for." Whiskers leaned in, his eyes widening with awe. "Great heavens, Thumper! You've found it, the magical acorn that sustains our forest. This is a tremendous discovery." Emily couldn't contain her excitement. "That's amazing, Thumper. We've been searching everywhere for this. Now we can finally return it to its rightful place and restore the balance." Thumper's ears perked up and a small smile crept across his face. I'm glad I could be of help. I know how important this is for all of us. Let's get it back to the others right away." As they hurried back to the clearing, Emily couldn't help but feel a surge of pride and accomplishment. They had taken the first step in solving one of the forest's major problems, and it was all thanks to the teamwork and determination of the animals. When they arrived, the other search parties had also returned, their faces a mix of disappointment and relief. "We couldn't find the acorn anywhere," the raccoon named Rascal reported, his eyes downcast. "But Thumper has found it," Emily announced, holding the glowing treasure high. "Now we can return it to its rightful place and restore the balance to the forest." A cheer went up from the animals, and they gathered around Emily and Whiskers, eager to take the acorn to its final destination. Archimedes, the wise old owl, hooted approvingly. "Excellent work, my friends. Now, let us waste no time in ensuring the acorn is returned to the heart of the forest. The future of our enchanted world depends on it." With renewed determination, the animals set off, Emily and Whiskers leading the way. As they navigated the winding paths, Emily couldn't help but feel a growing sense of pride and purpose. They were one step closer to solving the forest's problems and restoring harmony to this magical place. Chapter 7: Raccoon Trickery. Emily and Whiskers gathered the forest animals together in the clearing. They had to act quickly before the raccoon leader disappeared with the precious magical acorn. "All right, everyone," Emily said, taking a deep breath. "We know the raccoon leader has the acorn hidden somewhere. We need to figure out where he's keeping it and get it back before the forest's balance is lost for good." The animals looked at each other worriedly, unsure of how to outsmart the cunning raccoon. Whiskers stepped forward, his green eyes shining with wisdom. "Fear not, my friends," the cat said calmly. "With Emily's creativity and your unique knowledge of the forest, I believe we can devise a plan to recover the acorn." The wise old owl hooted thoughtfully. "The raccoon's den is deep within the thicket, hidden from view. We'll need to be very clever to infiltrate his lair without being detected." A nervous rabbit named Thumper trembled. "Oh my, I don't know if I have the courage to go against that mischievous raccoon. He's so sly and devious." Emily placed a reassuring hand on Thumper's soft fur. "Don't worry, Thumper. We'll all be there to support you. Together, I know we can do this." The other animals murmured in agreement, their spirits lifting at Emily's words. Whiskers purred approvingly, impressed by the girl's growing confidence and leadership. "All right, here's the plan," Emily said, addressing the group. "Thumper, I need you to use your keen senses to sniff out the raccoon's trail and lead us to his den. Owl, you can fly overhead and keep watch for any movement." The rabbit and the owl nodded, their expressions determined. "The rest of us will approach the den quietly and surround the entrance," Emily continued. "When the raccoon leader comes out, we'll trap him and demand he return the acorn." A mischievous raccoon named Bandit spoke up, his masked face alight with excitement. "Ooh, I like the sound of that. Let's give that sneaky leader a taste of his own medicine." The other animals murmured in agreement, their confidence growing. Emily smiled, relieved to see them working together. "Excellent. Let's move out and get that acorn back where it belongs," she declared. The group set off, following Thumper's lead through the dense foliage. Owl soared overhead, keeping a watchful eye on the surroundings. As they approached the raccoon's den, the animals crouched in the bushes, waiting with bated breath. Suddenly, a rustling sound came from the entrance of the den, and the raccoon leader emerged, the magical acorn clutched in his paws. He looked around cautiously, his sharp eyes scanning the area. "All right, now," Emily whispered, and the animals sprang into action. Thumper darted out, blocking the raccoon's path, while Owl swooped down, distracting him with a flurry of flapping wings. The other animals surged forward, surrounding the den and cutting off any escape routes. The raccoon leader's eyes widened in alarm as he realized he was trapped. He bared his teeth, clutching the acorn tightly. "Not so fast, you mangy thief!" Bandit yelled, his voice laced with anger. "Hand over that acorn, or you'll be sorry." The raccoon leader growled defiantly. "Never. This acorn is mine now, and I won't give it up without a fight." Emily stepped forward, her expression determined. "Listen, we don't want to hurt you, But the forest needs that acorn to stay in balance. Please, just give it back and we can find a way to resolve this peacefully. The raccoon leader paused, his eyes narrowing as he studied the girl. Whiskers came to stand beside Emily, his tail swishing back and forth. "The child speaks true words, my friend," the cat said, his voice low and soothing. "The forest's harmony is at stake. Surely you must see the importance of returning the acorn to its rightful place." The raccoon leader's grip on the acorn loosened slightly, and the other animals held their breath, hoping he would see reason. Suddenly, a mischievous grin spread across the raccoon's face, and he let out a loud, cackling laugh. "Fools," he exclaimed. "You think you can outsmart me? The acorn is mine, and I'll never give it up." With a swift movement, the raccoon leader darted between the animals, his small frame allowing him to slip through the gaps. The others tried to grab him, but he was too fast, disappearing into the underbrush. "No," Emily cried, her heart sinking. "We can't let him get away." The animals erupted into a chorus of distressed cries, their hopes of recovering the acorn dashed. Whiskers let out a frustrated hiss, his tail lashing back and forth. "We must not lose faith," the cat said, his voice calm despite the setback. "The raccoon leader may have eluded us this time, but we cannot give up. There must be another way to retrieve the acorn." Emily took a deep breath, her mind racing. She couldn't let the raccoon win, not when so much was at stake. Suddenly, an idea began to form in her mind. "I think I know what to do," she said, her eyes brightening with determination. "But we'll need to work together, and we'll have to be even more clever than that sneaky raccoon." The animals gathered around her, their attention focused. Emily quickly outlined her plan, and the group set to work, each creature playing a vital role in the intricate scheme. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, the animals took their positions, waiting with bated breath for the raccoon leader to return. Time seemed to slow as the minutes ticked by, the forest holding its breath in anticipation. Finally, a rustling in the bushes signaled the raccoon's approach. He emerged, the magical acorn still clutched in his paws, a triumphant grin on his face. "Fools," he muttered, his voice dripping with arrogance. "Did you really think you could outsmart me?" But as the raccoon leader took a step forward, the ground suddenly gave way beneath him, and he found himself tumbling into a deep pit, the acorn flying from his grasp. The other animals sprang into action, quickly retrieving the precious acorn and surrounding the trapped raccoon. "No!" the raccoon leader wailed, his eyes wide with panic. "How did you do this?" Emily stepped forward, a proud smile on her face. "We worked together, just like I said we would, and now you're going to listen to us and make things right." The raccoon leader growled in frustration, but he knew he was defeated. With a reluctant sigh, he agreed to return the acorn and apologized to the other animals for his mischievous behavior. As the forest's balance was restored, the animals celebrated their victory, sharing joyful laughter and congratulatory embraces. Emily stood beside Whiskers, her heart swelling with pride and accomplishment. "We did it, Whiskers," she said, reaching down to scratch the cat's chin. "I couldn't have done it without your help and the support of the forest friends." Whiskers purred contentedly, his eyes shining with pride. "Indeed, my dear Emily, you have proven yourself to be a true hero, and I'm honored to have you as my companion." Emily smiled, feeling a renewed sense of purpose and confidence. With Whiskers by her side and the forest animals as her allies, she knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united in their quest to protect the enchanted world they had come to love. Chapter 8: The Final Challenge. Emily's heart raced as she and Whiskers stood before the entrance to the final challenge. The path ahead was shrouded in a mysterious fog, revealing only glimpses of the obstacles that lay in wait. "Are you ready, Emily?" Whiskers asked, his eyes shining with a mixture of concern and confidence. Emily took a deep breath and nodded. "I'm ready. We've come this far, and I know the animals are counting on us. We can't give up now." Whiskers gave a reassuring nod. "Then let us proceed. Remember, you have the strength within you to overcome anything that stands in our way." The two companions stepped forward, pushing through the veil of mist. As the fog cleared, they found themselves in a labyrinth of towering hedges, their branches twisting and turning like a living maze. "This must be the work of the raccoons," Whiskers observed, his ears perked forward. They've created a convoluted trap to keep us from reaching the acorn's resting place. Emily surveyed the maze, her brow furrowed in concentration. Then we'll have to use our wits to outsmart them. Don't worry, Whiskers, I have an idea. She turned to the animals who had accompanied them this far. The wise old owl, the nervous rabbit, and the resourceful raccoon who had seen the error of his ways. Okay, everyone, listen up. We're going to need your help to get through this maze. Are you ready to work together? The animals nodded eagerly, their eyes shining with determination. Emily quickly outlined her plan, and they sprang into action. The owl took to the sky, using its keen eyesight to guide the group from above. The rabbit scurried ahead, sniffing out the best paths through the maze, and the reformed raccoon used his nimble fingers to carefully remove branches and clear the way. Emily and Whiskers followed closely, their senses heightened as they navigated the twisting corridors. At times, the path seemed to shift and change, as if the maze itself were alive and trying to thwart their progress. "Watch out!" the rabbit suddenly cried, his ears perked up. "There's a hidden trap ahead." Emily and Whiskers paused, scanning the area. Suddenly, a series of sharp thorns shot out from the hedges, narrowly missing them. The group quickly backtracked, regrouping to reassess their strategy. "Those raccoons are clever," Whiskers murmured, his tail twitching. "We'll need to be even more cunning to get through this maze unscathed." Emily's mind raced as she studied the layout of the hedges. "I've got it!" she exclaimed. "The owl can guide us from above, and the rabbit can sniff out the safest route, but we need a way to safely trigger and disarm those traps." She turned to the reformed raccoon. "Can you do that? Can you use your skills to help us get through this maze?" The raccoon hesitated for a moment, then nodded resolutely. "Yes, I can do it. I'll make up for the trouble I've caused before." With a renewed sense of purpose, the group set off once more, the owl and rabbit leading the way while the raccoon carefully navigated the traps. Emily and Whiskers followed close behind, their senses alert and their hearts filled with determination. As they progressed, the maze seemed to grow more complex, with twisting turns and dead ends at every corner. But the team worked in perfect harmony, communicating and adjusting their plan as they encountered new challenges. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they emerged into a vast, open clearing. In the center stood a towering oak tree, its branches reaching up towards the sky. "There it is," Whiskers breathed, his eyes fixed on the glowing acorn nestled in the tree's highest bough, the source of the forest's balance. Emily gazed up at the tree, her hands clenching into fists. "Then let's go get it. We're so close now." But just as they started towards the tree, a familiar and unwelcome figure appeared from the shadows, the mischievous raccoon leader, his eyes narrowed with malice. Well, the raccoon sneered, stepping forward. "I should have known you meddlesome creatures would make it this far. But you're too late. The acorn is mine." He darted forward, his nimble paws reaching for the tree. Emily and Whiskers sprang into action, determined to stop him. The battle that ensued was fierce and frenzied, with the raccoon leader using every trick in his arsenal to evade their grasp. He leapt and scurried, his sharp claws lashing out as he fought to protect his prize. Emily and Whiskers worked together seamlessly, anticipating the raccoon's moves and working in tandem to try and corner him. The other animals joined the fray, using their own unique skills to aid in the pursuit. But the raccoon leader was elusive, his cunning mind constantly devising new strategies to outsmart his opponents. Emily felt her frustration mounting as the battle raged on, the acorn seeming further and further out of reach. Suddenly, an idea struck her. "Whiskers, the tree!" she cried. "We need to get him up in the tree." Whiskers understood immediately, his eyes narrowing with determination. "Everyone, drive him towards the oak," he commanded, his voice ringing with authority. The animals surged forward, herding the raccoon leader closer and closer to the towering tree. The raccoon snarled and hissed, realizing his predicament, but he was no match for the coordinated efforts of the group. With one final push, the raccoon leader found himself cornered against the tree trunk, his escape routes cut off. Emily and Whiskers seized the moment, leaping forward and causing the raccoon to lose his balance and scramble up the tree. "No!" the raccoon leader wailed, his claws scrabbling against the bark as he climbed higher, desperate to reach the acorn. "This can't be happening." Emily and Whiskers followed in hot pursuit, their agility and teamwork giving them the advantage. At last, they reached the uppermost branches where the glowing acorn rested. The raccoon leader lunged for the acorn, his teeth bared in a snarl. But just as his paws touched the precious object, a brilliant light erupted from it, bathing the entire clearing in a dazzling glow. The raccoon leader let out a startled cry, his grip slipping as he was overwhelmed by the sheer power of the acorn's magic. With a frantic swipe, Emily knocked the acorn free, sending it tumbling down towards the waiting animals below. Whiskers sprang forward, catching the acorn in his jaws and landing gracefully on the ground. The other animals cheered, their voices mingling in a triumphant chorus. The raccoon leader, now cowering on a high branch, stared down in dismay. "No, no, this can't be," he wailed, realizing his plan had been foiled. Emily looked up at him, her expression a mix of relief and resolve. "It's over, raccoon. The acorn is safe, and the forest can be restored. You've lost." The raccoon leader opened his mouth to protest, but then his shoulders slumped in defeat. With a resigned sigh, he scampered down the tree and slunk away, his tail dragging behind him. Emily turned to Whiskers, a proud smile spreading across her face. "We did it, Whiskers. We found the acorn and stopped the raccoon leader. The forest is safe." Whiskers purred in approval, gently placing the glowing acorn at the base of the tree. "Indeed, Emily, your bravery and quick thinking proved crucial. I'm proud of you." As the other animals gathered around, their expressions filled with gratitude and wonder, Emily felt a sense of deep fulfillment. She had overcome her fears, solved the forest's problems, and made new friends in the process. This adventure had changed her, and she knew she would never be the same again. With the acorn returned to its rightful place, the forest began to transform, the air crackling with renewed energy. Emily and her companions watched in awe as the trees and plants seemed to reclaim their vitality, the river flowing once more with a renewed vigor. "It's working!" the rabbit exclaimed, hopping with joy. "The forest's balance is being restored." Emily beamed, her heart swelling with pride. She had played a vital role in saving this magical world, and she knew that the lessons she had learned about friendship, courage, and the power of teamwork would stay with her forever. As the animals celebrated their victory, Emily felt a sense of peace and belonging that she had never experienced before. This enchanted forest had become a second home, and she knew that she would always feel a connection to it, no matter how far her adventures might take her. With Whiskers by her side, Emily gazed up at the star-filled sky, already dreaming of the next challenge that awaited them. For now, the forest was safe, and she was ready to face whatever the future held. Chapter 9: Restoring Forest Harmony. The forest clearing was alive with celebration as the animals gathered around Emily and Whiskers. After a tense confrontation with the conniving raccoon leader, they had finally recovered the precious magical acorn and returned it to its rightful place. "You did it!" cheered a squirrel, scurrying up to Emily and Whiskers. "The forest is back in balance." Emily beamed with pride, thrilled to see the animals' smiling, relieved faces. Whiskers purred contentedly, his wise eyes shining with approval. "It was a team effort," Emily said, glancing around at her newfound friends. "I couldn't have done it without all of your help." The old owl hooted in agreement, his feathers ruffled with satisfaction. "Indeed, young Emily, your courage and determination have saved our enchanted home." He flapped his wings, gesturing to the lush greenery and sparkling river. "The forest's harmony has been restored." Emily felt a swell of joy at the owl's words. When she had first stumbled into this magical world, she had been overwhelmed and uncertain. But through her adventures with Whiskers and the forest creatures, she had discovered an inner strength and resourcefulness she never knew she possessed. "I'm so glad we could help," she said, reaching out to gently stroke Whiskers' soft fur. "This has been the most amazing experience of my life." The cat purred louder, nuzzling against her hand. "And it is only the beginning, my dear Emily," he said, his voice rich with emotion. "You have proven yourself to be a true friend of the forest. I have no doubt you will return to us again should we ever have need of your assistance." Emily's eyes widened. "You mean I can come back?" she asked, hardly daring to believe it. Whiskers nodded solemnly. "The portal to this enchanted realm will remain open to you. Whenever your heart yearns for adventure, you need only find the glowing tree in your backyard. The young girl felt a surge of excitement at the prospect of more magical exploits. She had been transformed by this journey, and the thought of revisiting her new friends filled her with joy. Suddenly, a chorus of joyful calls drew her attention. The other animals were gathering around, eager to bid her farewell. "Thank you, Emily," exclaimed the nervous rabbit, hopping up to her. "We couldn't have done it without you." "Yes, yes," chimed in the mischievous raccoon, his eyes twinkling with remorse. "We're ever so grateful for your help in teaching us the importance of kindness." One by one, the forest creatures approached Emily, offering their heartfelt gratitude and well wishes. The wise old owl inclined his head respectfully, while the squirrel and other small animals surrounded her, chattering excitedly. Emily felt a lump in her throat, overcome with emotion. These animals had become her trusted companions, and the thought of leaving them was bittersweet. "I'm going to miss you all so much," she said, her voice trembling. "Thank you for everything you've taught me." Whiskers nuzzled against her leg, his expression reassuring. "Do not be sad, my dear," he said softly, "for you will always have a place in the enchanted forest and in the hearts of your friends." Emily took a deep, steadying breath, then turned to face the glowing portal tree once more. Whiskers stood by her side, his tail entwined with hers. "I'm ready," she said, squaring her shoulders with determination. "I'll be back soon, I promise." With one last fond look at the gathered animals, Emily and Whiskers stepped through the shimmering portal, leaving the enchanted forest behind. The world shifted around them, and soon they found themselves back in Emily's familiar backyard, the rain still falling gently. Emily gazed up at the glowing tree, her mind racing with the events of her extraordinary adventure. She had faced challenges, conquered her fears, and formed unbreakable bonds with the most unlikely of companions. And through it all, she had discovered a strength and resilience within herself that she never knew existed. Turning to Whiskers, she reached out and pulled the cat into a tight hug. "Thank you, Whiskers," she whispered, blinking back tears of gratitude, "for everything." Whiskers purred reassuringly, his eyes shining with warmth. "The pleasure was all mine, my dear Emily," he replied. "You have proven yourself to be a true hero, and I have no doubt you will continue to do great things." The two sat together, basking in the memory of their journey, until the rain eventually subsided and the sun began to peek through the clouds. Emily knew that, no matter what challenges lay ahead in her ordinary life, she would always have the enchanted forest and its loyal animal friends to return to. With a renewed sense of purpose and adventure, she stood up, Whiskers at her side, and headed back into her house, already dreaming of her next magical expedition. Chapter 10. A Magical Farewell. As the final rays of sunlight filtered through the enchanted forest, Emily and Whiskers knew their incredible adventure was coming to an end. They had helped restore balance to the woodland realm, and the talking animals had become dear friends. But the time had come for the pair to return to the ordinary world they had left behind. Emily's heart felt heavy with the thought of leaving this magical place. "Do we really have to go, Whiskers?" she asked, gazing up at her feline companion. "I feel like there's so much more for us to explore and discover here." Whiskers let out a thoughtful meow, his eyes shining with wisdom. "I understand your reluctance to depart, Emily. This forest has become a second home to you, and the bonds you've formed are strong. However, you must remember that your true place is in the world you came from." He patted closer, his tail swishing gently. "You have learned so much during our time here, about friendship, courage, and the power of working together. These lessons will serve you well, no matter which realm you find yourself in." Emily nodded slowly, feeling a bittersweet mix of emotions. "I'm going to miss all my forest friends so much. Owl, rabbit, raccoon, they've become like a family to me." She paused, her brow furrowing. "But I know I can't stay here forever. There's a part of me that's eager to return home and share everything I've experienced." Whiskers purred reassuringly. "Your friends in the forest will always remember you, Emily, and you can rest assured that they will continue to watch over their enchanted home, just as I have for generations." He leaned in, his whiskers tickling her cheek. "Besides, I have a feeling this won't be the last time you set foot in this magical realm." Emily's face lit up with a smile, her earlier sadness dissipating. "You really mean that, Whiskers? I can come back someday?" She knelt down, gathering the cat into a warm hug. "Of course, my dear," Whiskers replied, nuzzling her affectionately. "Whenever your heart yearns for adventure and the call of the enchanted forest, I will be here to guide you once more." Just then, a soft rustling in the undergrowth drew their attention. Emerging from the trees were the familiar faces of Emily's forest companions. Owl, rabbit, raccoon, and all the other talking animals she had grown to love. "Emily, Whiskers!" Rabbit exclaimed, hopping forward with a joyful bounce. "We've been searching for you. We didn't want you to leave without saying goodbye." Owl flapped his majestic wings, settling on a nearby branch. "Your time in our forest has been a true gift, young Emily. You have shown us the value of courage, compassion, and working together." The other animals nodded in agreement, their expressions filled with gratitude and affection. Raccoon, who had once been a mischievous troublemaker, stepped forward shyly. I wanted to thank you, Emily, for helping me see the error of my ways. I promised to be kinder to my fellow forest dwellers from now on." Emily felt her eyes well up with tears as she surveyed the group. "Oh, you guys, I'm going to miss you all so much." She reached out, gently stroking Raccoon's soft fur. "But I know the forest is in good hands. You've all become such wonderful friends." One by one, the animals approached Emily, nuzzling her and bidding her farewell. Owl hooted a solemn benediction, while Rabbit gave her an enthusiastic hug. Even the mischievous Raccoon offered a hesitant but sincere embrace. As the emotional goodbyes drew to a close, Emily turned to Whiskers, who had been watching the scene unfold with a serene expression. "I'm ready, Whiskers," she said, her voice steady with resolve. "Let's go back home." The cat nodded, leading the way back to the glowing portal tree. Emily cast one final, wistful glance over her shoulder, drinking in the sight of the enchanted forest one last time. "Goodbye, my friends," she whispered. "I'll never forget you." With a deep breath, Emily stepped through the shimmering portal, Whiskers by her side. In a swirl of light and magic, they were transported back to the familiar backyard of Emily's real-world home. The rain had stopped, and the evening sky was painted with vibrant hues of orange and pink. Emily blinked, adjusting to the ordinary surroundings once more. "We're home," Whiskers announced, his voice soft and contemplative. Emily nodded, a bittersweet smile tugging at her lips. "Yes, we are." She gazed down at the cat, reaching out to gently stroke his soft fur. "Whiskers, thank you for taking me on this incredible adventure. I don't know what I would have done without you." Whiskers lifted his head, his eyes meeting hers with a knowing expression. "The pleasure was all mine, my dear Emily. You have grown so much during our time in the enchanted forest. I am proud to call you my companion and friend." Emily felt a surge of warmth in her chest, her heart swelling with gratitude and affection for her feline guide. "And I'm proud to call you mine, Whiskers. You're the most extraordinary cat I've ever known." The two shared a moment of comfortable silence, both reflecting on the incredible journey they had shared. Emily knew that the lessons she had learned about friendship, courage, and the power of working together would stay with her forever. As the last traces of daylight faded, Emily and Whiskers made their way back into the house, ready to face the world anew. Emily may have returned to her ordinary life, but she felt transformed, her spirit invigorated by the wonders of the enchanted forest. She knew that one day, the call of adventure would come again, and she and Whiskers would be ready to answer it. Until then, she would cherish the memories of her incredible quest, a testament to the magic that can be found in the most unexpected of places.